Hi guys, welcome back to MBA Pulse. Last time I talked about the journey to the next orbit for all the management aspirants once they decide on a good PGDM institution or an MBA institution. I want to continue that. I also talked about the leadership qualities which are required and where they should look at for the kind of leadership to shape up their own future. And definitely they should look at certain components of great leaders of India. I don't want to get into leadership of sports personalities or Bollywood personality, celebrities, because certain specific skill set required in a niche segment, which may not be useful to you, but for the inspiration you may get on certain things. So let's focus very, very clearly as a management, aspirant or a student or practitioners on the leadership which made huge impact on the society. So in this series, I want to start with a very, very humble leader, but the greatest man, not only for India, but for the whole world. The father of Indian industry, J.R.D. Tata. J.R.D. Tata lived only for 65 years, but the kind of changes he brought, the transformation he has done in the Indian industry is immense. So he was the first person to look at the welfare measures for people while the industrial revolution was happening and also people were growing in terms of industry. He was the first person to bring in welfare measures way back in 1875-76. So you talk about J.R.D. Tata. He was born in a small town called Navsari, the then Bombay Presidency. And many of you might have heard about Tata Steels, Tata Group, TCS, all those things, and the value system they are known for in India or elsewhere. What is very interesting is a very, very humble beginning. Many of you may not know that the Tata Group's first entry into manufacturing was in 1874 with a formation of a textile industry. Those days he had chosen to go to Nagpur to establish a mill. Then the Tata Textiles, it was also known as the Empress Mill. Lot of things had happened in this place when you talk about employee welfare and labor welfare. Tata Group is known for people first. That's the kind of value system they bring into the industry. When I talk about Empress Mill, those days, I'm talking about 1876-77, J.R.D. Tata talked about good ventilation for women workers working in the mill and good health, their welfare, and then he brought the best spindles possible, probably the best of technology was with Tata Textiles. Yet he talked about employee welfare. And many of you may not be knowing, the Provident Fund in India first was created by Empress Mill. And the gratuity fund was also again done by the Tata Groups, the Empress Mill. He also brought in the 8 hours of working and safe working place for the laborers and workmen. And much before 19th century, he was a pioneer in many of these things. So JRD, if you really look at it, he experimented technology and labor welfare together. So the excellence in his new plant was matched by the care for workers. So he always talked about the health of workers, pollution-free environment, and Tata Textiles for the first time introduced water filtration. In those days, plants were put up, sanitary hutments were put up. If you really look at the overall, the approach of JRD was something phenomenal. And no Indian industry leader actually has achieved that kind of thing when it comes to labor welfare. So most of the things what we are talking about as labor rules, probably we picked it up from JRD's pioneering efforts. The responsibility of a true leader is to feel the burden as a feather light, which will take him to the sky and fly high. The beauty of true leadership is to feel grounded all the time while you're flying. That is what JRD was known for. I will be covering in detail about him in my future sessions, but this is an introduction I want to give about JRD to understand, because many of us don't know about these details. You may still further do some research going into details of JRD Tata, and definitely I'll be covering many leaders who made huge impacts. I'm not restricting to only Indian leadership. Maybe I will cover Bill Gates, I'll cover Steve Jobs, I'll even cover Sundar Pichai of Google, and other leaders who impacted globally and also were focused, very, very focused on management aspects of it. The transformation happened because of the contributions these leaders made to the industry. If you're a management aspirant, ensure that you look at these things very clearly when you are studying the subject and pick up certain things which will help you to shape up your career. And thank you very much for listening to me on the first session of leadership, that is journey to the next orbit. And I will also be looking at various aspects of management field in my future session. And thanks for listening, and keep watching and sharing my videos, and subscribe to my YouTube channel MBA Pulse, and also visit my website www.mba-pulse.com. Thank you so much. Have a great day.